Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Bryant. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Bryant is ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Bryant today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com, and make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. The definition of inexplicable is unable to be explained or accounted for. Can't be understood, can't be comprehended. No one gets it. I've said many a time before on this program that we need 30, 40, 50 games to understand what the direction of an MLB team will be. Look at how long it took us for the White Sox. Everybody panicked. They started 8-9. What are they going to do? Now they're the best team in baseball. Now everybody knows what they bring to the table, what they're capable of. Who's going to be a big piece moving forward? Did anyone expect Carlos Rodon to do well? Did we expect Tony La Russa to actually win this many games, despite his snafus? Was your mean Mercedes supposed to hit 360? It took time for us to see the team develop and to know what they're capable of. You can't say in a week, I know. You need time. You need games. You need innings, reps. That's how you determine who's going to be good and who has nothing. I bring up inexplicable because that's what the Cubs are right now. It's been 40, 50 games. And yet, we still don't know what they are. We really don't have a clue. Everybody, of course, remembers the hitting struggles to begin the year. Everybody under 200, team batting average under 200. Yet now they have a lot of players at least at league average. 6 players in their starting lineup have above 100 OPS pluses, meaning they're better than the average in the league. Contreras, Rizzo, they're doing great. Kris Bryant, even Nico Horner in limited time has put up a great OPS plus. So the tide shifted there, which is great. Surprising, yes, but it happened. There is another thing, though, that I said from the very beginning. I said this back in February. You're not going to win games when you have 5 pitchers throwing 90 miles per hour. You aren't going to win anything in 2021 in Major League Baseball when 5 of your starting pitchers, all 5 of them, can't throw more than 92, 93. And that's being generous. And I remember at the start of the year when Trevor Williams, Jake Arrieta, even Zach Davies did well. Arrieta led the league in wins for a week or two. And everybody said, Arrieta's back. It's 2015 Arrieta. No, it isn't. And now as we sit here today, the lowest ERA in the Cubs is Adbert Alzolay at 4.30. That's the lowest ERA amongst the 5 starting pitchers. 4.30. And that is high. Kyle Hendricks is not performing. Arrieta, Davies, Trevor Williams. They are not getting the job done. And I will give the Cubs credit. I can't believe they're 2 games over 500 with that starting rotation. That's a credit to the offense and to the bullpen, who's done amazing, by the way. Remember last year, the bullpen was the issue. The year before, the bullpen. Now all of a sudden, it's great. Craig Kimbrell killing it. Chapin, Tepera, Brothers, Winkler. All of them have done a great job in the bullpen. Dylan Maples. It's just inexplicable. I don't get it. Personally, I don't. Ever since 2016, there's always been an issue with this team. The hitting isn't working, but the pitching's there. Hitting and pitching are there, but the bullpen can't pitch and can't close out games. This year, pitching was there first couple of weeks, went away. Hitting wasn't there, now it's here. Bullpen's here. I really don't understand this team yet. Now, do I believe they're going to be a World Series contender? No, and you shouldn't either. No, that's not hating on the Cubs. That's the reality. Look at this team. You really think they're going to go to the World Series, even the playoffs? I don't think so. But it's hard to piece together what they're supposed to be right now. I'm stumped. I did a video back in March, and I said, are the Cubs an enigma? You might remember it on YouTube. It was after they signed Jock Peterson. That rings true today more than ever. They are an enigma. I don't know what they are. I'd love to sit here and say, oh, for sure they're rebuilding, or for sure they're a World Series contender. I don't know. You know, some days they have the lineup to beat anybody. Some days they have guys performing. Everyone's on the same page. Contreras, Rizzo, Baez, Peterson, Bryant. And then other days, they can't hit. Maybe there's a good pitching performance. But then, other days, 5 runs are given up. This team is just all over the place. It's not just this year. It's been like that since the World Series. But now, more than ever, it's pretty apparent. I mean, we're 45 games into the season, and we've seen big swings, big pattern shifts in the pitching and hitting already. We've seen them as one of the worst hitting teams in baseball. The worst. Now they're near the top. We've seen them with good pitching. A budget rotation that was actually paying off. Now, that same budget rotation can't record an out and gives up 5 runs a game. It's just the most puzzling thing I've ever seen. This is the most puzzling Cubs team I've ever seen. Written in the Chicago Tribune, quote, Jon Lester changed the culture of the Chicago Cubs and helped them deliver a World Series. Can fans enjoy a 2021 team that may be average at best? Think about 2016. Was this ever an issue? Did you ever see this team high and then low? Were they always not on the same page? No, they were always synced up. They meshed, they worked, everything went okay. After 2016, to today, there's always been an issue. It's been something. There have been positives on this team. Said them right now. Hitting's great. But the negative always seems to outweigh the positive. The negative always looms large over this team. I'd love to sit here and praise the offense and tell them they did a great job, but when your pitching is giving up 5, 6, 7 runs a game, how are you supposed to pay attention to the offense? And that's a great question, by the way, from the Tribune. Can fans enjoy a team that might be average? I'd love to sit here and say they're going to be great, but you've seen this team already. They're going back and forth. Good pitching, bad hitting. Good hitting, bad pitching. Good bullpen, bad bullpen. They're all over the place. And we all know where they're going. They're not the White Sox. Come on. They are going to have to face a very difficult decision come July. If this stuff continues and you have no clue where they're going, it is going to be a very, very tough decision. My recommendation stays the same. You trade everybody. You bring back ultimate value. Unless they change our minds. See, I don't know what they're doing. We see them looking like the Cubs of old one day, and the next day it's off the rails. And I'll say this much. If that behavior, if that performance keeps up, where one day they're great, the other day they're not, where the offense does great one week, the other week they can't, where the pitching fails them time and time again, that's your sign. It's time to close up shop. Alzolay did great against St. Louis. They still lost. Because, get this, the offense couldn't play. Again, one night the pitching is on, one night it's off, one night the offense is on, the other night it's off. You cannot be a contending team. You can't even be a winning team if that continues to happen time and time again. And when you're the Cubs and you're in this situation where you know a rebuild's coming, you're closer to a rebuild than you are a World Series, tough decisions have to be made. Very tough ones. I know everybody wants Bryant to be re-signed, Rizzo. No one wants to see him leave. But why would you pay him money if you don't know the direction of your team? There is justification for paying Bryant and Rizzo. I don't agree with it, but there's justification. Need fans in the seats. Going to be a long rebuild. Loyalty. Somewhat production. Somewhat. I understand it. But I understand the flip side too. We're going to be bad. Waste of money. Let them go somewhere else and win. Not have to waste their waning years with another rebuild. Let's save money, bring back prospects, and look towards the future. I get both sides of the coin. But right now, the Cubs are straddling the fence as a team. I don't know where they're going. And big decisions like that can't be made unless you know deep down, I get it. I see where this team's going. I understand their direction. No one understands it right now. No one gets it. I've been a proponent of the rebuild from day one, but right now, I don't know what to think. No one knows what to think. One night they look great. They look like the Cubs of old. And the next night, it's time to rebuild right now. If they keep playing like this, what are you supposed to do? That's why I said before the season, this Cubs team is truly an enigma. At times they've shown they could be ultra competitive. Not talking World Series competitive, but playoff worthy. Other times, I see nothing. I see 2006 Cubs again and again and again. Fortunately, there's still time. It's not July, not August yet. But we're very close to those dates. A decision will have to be made. You don't want to hold on to Bryant, for example, then lose him in free agency, get nothing back for him, when you could have done something now. These are going to be very tough decisions, and I do not envy Jed Hoyer for having to make them. Because no matter what he does, there's going to be criticism. If he keeps Bryant and Rizzo, the people who love the rebuild, like me, will not be happy. That's a waste of money. If he trades them, your fan base will be alienated. And you could say, trust the future, stay with us, but how many people will? It is a very, very fluid situation, and there are no answers right now. And I've never seen this team just so inconsistent and so all over the place. They're 23 and 22. You could interpret that a couple of ways. You could say, well, they're 500, mediocre. You could say, well, that's a good record, considering their pitching is horrible. That's hard to interpret. This team is hard to read. And that's the issue here. Even Javier Baez, for example, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs, oh wait, tons of strikeouts. And on base percentage under 300. These are things that don't make any sense. Kyle Hendricks, Mr. Reliable, 4.74 ERA. Craig Kimbrell, who's been a bust of a signing, now 1.02 ERA. He's killing it. They are defying the norm in every which way possible. Some ways in good, some ways in bad. And that should make Jed Hoyer think twice before doing anything. You are still trying to sort this out. But the time's coming. The time is coming to make a decision. I know what fans want. Fans do not want to see these players go. I get it. Management doesn't want to pay anybody, regardless of where they are. Unless somehow, some way, they become a legitimate World Series contender. They're 20 games over 500. They're killing it. But I don't see that. I don't see that happening. It's just a very, very fluid situation, and there are no answers right now. There's no way to interpret this team yet. There's only one word you could use. Inexplicable. What they're doing, what they've done all year, it's inexplicable. Oh, they've gone from the worst team in baseball to having 6 hitters with an OPS plus above 100. They went from one of the best rotations in baseball through 2 weeks to now one of the worst. The bullpen over the years has gone from bad to ugly to now good. It's inexplicable. It makes no sense. Usually, typically, 40, 50 games, you know where your team stands. For example, we know where Baltimore stands, Minnesota. We know where the White Sox stand. Dodgers. Then you have your middle teams, like the Cubs. They could turn it on. They could win 8 of 10. Play 500 ball the rest of the way. They'll win 85 games. Maybe they'll sneak in as a wild card team. Or, conversely, they could lose 8 of 10. Always hover around 500, finish a few games under, and the rebuild will start. The question is, can we identify the problem before the trade deadline? That is what Jed Hoyer should be focusing on. Can you identify the problem? Can you tell where this team's going before the trade deadline? Because then you could bring back a haul for Bryant, Rizzo, whomever, or you stay the course, ride out the ship, and see where it gets you. Either way, it's going to be a tough decision. you will lose fans on both sides with whatever you do. This team is inexplicable right now. They have 2 months to tell everybody who they are. For the sake of their future, I hope it's a rebuild. For the sake of winning right now and making everybody happy, we'll have to see how it plays out. I do not envy Jed Hoyer. I don't even envy this team. And all these players. They don't know what they're playing for. They may say, oh, we're going to the World Series, but realistically, that's not happening. So what are they playing for? For the next contract? For the ability to not be traded? It's just an odd and bizarre situation. This reminds me of 2005. A 2005 team that went 79-83. And were kind of in it at one point, but then dropped out and did nothing. And then 2006, obviously, was a year that everybody wants to forget. It's a very weird time to be a Cubs fan, and it's an even more bizarre time to be a player on this team. My hope is for clarity. I want to know what this team is. I want to know what they bring to the table. I want to know who they are. No more inconsistency. No more wondering week to week, well, who's going to perform, the hitting or the pitching? No. I want to know what this team is now. Right now they're at 500. They've had big, great stretches, and they've had very bad ones. What are they? They've had bad hitting, league worst hitting, now great hitting. They've had great pitching, now bad pitching. Bad bullpen, now good bullpen. Which is it? As time continues to move, an answer needs to come up for Jed Hoyer's sake, for the team's future, and their sake. So Cubs fans, if I were you, and you're watching this team, keep that in the back of your head. You could enjoy the wins, or the losses, or where they stand. But you need to know, you deserve to know what the future holds for this team. And right now, no one has a clue. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with K.C. Johnson comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You get about $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are back, of course. NBA playoffs going strong. NHL one's going good, too. Plus, Bears prop bets. You can bet on Justin Fields, how many games they'll win, and what to expect from them for this upcoming season. This is a great time to put down some money, win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.